All right, welcome back to My Mom's Basement presented by Barstool Sports, but not really My Mom's Basement today, From the Top Rope today. We've got another emergency edition of From the Top Rope with Jared Carrabis, the Rocket, as always, joining me to talk graps. Jared, how are we feeling? I know you're probably not feeling great today.
I mean, the second that the Rumble, no, it was the next day. It was the day after the Rumble. I texted you. I said, I am available for media. I needed an outlet. I needed a place to talk about it. I'm sick. I think even it's gotten worse, right? Like it's like I feel like when I said that to you, that was just about the Rumble result. It wasn't even about the Punk injury yet. Like things have gotten worse since I told you I needed a place to come talk about this shit.
So you didn't like Cody winning the Rumble at all?
I don't like Cody.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah,
Why?
I'm not. Yeah,
Let's get right into it. Why?
Why don't I like Cody?
Yeah.
I
Did you like him before he went to AEW? Is it the AEW thing
like
that
him.
you don't like?
No. I. So when Cody's, I guess, when his special came out, I was like, all right, I like I keep going back and forth on it. I don't like being told what I should care about. I don't like that. Like I'm as big of a Roman guy as Roman guys get. And when fans were booing Roman Reigns for being like pushed down their throat, like I got it. Like I was like this feels awkward and uncomfortable for me because I kind of agree. Like I didn't like what Roman was doing when the fans were booing him unmercifully. Now I feel like Cody is doing that, but everyone's like, yay. So now I'm coming from a place of like, why the fuck did you boo me, Roman, when I was being forced? And now you're cheering Cody when Cody's being forced. What's the difference? I don't get it.
I don't think it's the same because I think when Cody came in, it was immediately like, oh my God, the crowd is so happy to have him here. And he's gotten amazing reactions in every city they go to. Roman at the time was people hated him in every city they went to, and they were like, this is the baby face.
Why were we getting booed? Why? I want to know
because
why.
it didn't match. What he was trying to portray didn't match who he was. Who he's playing right now, the head of the table, that's Roman Reigns. Suffer and Succotash, that was not Roman Reigns, and they were trying to force it on him. With Cody, I feel the story's like amazing because it's real. He actually left the WWE. He's actually trying to finish the story that his dad never finished. It's like the Iron Claw in real life in that way, but without some of the trauma that the Von Erich family went through there. I think this is like perfect. This is what I wanted to happen in the Rumble. I was like, please God, have Cody win. Cody has to be the one to take the title off Roman. There's nobody else it could be.
There's nobody else it could be, but you think Cody's finishing his story at WrestleMania?
If he doesn't, I'm going to be so livid.
Bro,
I think I said it before. I will January 6th at the WWE headquarters. Like, I need this story finished.
Do you think that Cody goes into WrestleMania 40 as a favorite?
Yes, I hope so. I mean, like, I know the Hogan record is far further away, and they probably do want Reigns to, but you can't push it because it's reached the point where he can only lose the title at WrestleMania. Only WrestleMania. You cannot have him drop the belt at Survivor Series, SummerSlam, the Rumble. You can't have him drop it to The Rock. And you're not doing Cody versus Roman 3 times in a row at WrestleMania. It has to happen this year. Has to. Because also, it should have happened last year. I think it absolutely should have, knowing how the year has played out, especially. Roman's feuds with the Usos, the Bloodline, that was all non-title related, really. We didn't need the title for the line at SummerSlam. It still could have been the main event. Now, Cody, on the other hand, he's felt like he's in limbo since WrestleMania. If his feud with Brock had the title attached to it, I think even more people care.
I agree. So I agree to a point where I didn't want him obviously to lose the title at WrestleMania last year, but knowing how this year played out, it's like, all right, yeah, then that would have made more sense. I just thought that there was more juice in the Bloodline storyline, but it really peaked at the Rumble last year. The Rumble last year, like the pop of Sammy turning on Roman, I thought like that was the start of like, holy fuck, like where is it going to go from here? And then it didn't really it didn't live up to the hype after that. Like, that was the peak. I thought that Sammy turning on Roman was going to open up a whole year-long program of like, where are we going from here? Like, this is exciting. But then like Jay's turn, like Jay's babyface run has been
I like
fun.
that, yeah.
Like I've enjoyed it, but getting away from like any bloodline stuff, I don't know that I've loved Jay on his own. Jimmy turning
I like
on
him on
Roman.
his own.
I like him on his own, but like the fact that he's completely detached from any bloodline hijinks, I don't love. And then they have Jimmy turn on Roman, and then his theme music is like, fuck my family, I'm on my own now. And but then like it lasted for 2 weeks and then he's back in the bloodline. It just felt very sloppy in terms of the build and the storytelling. And now Jimmy went from like the Usos were unbelievable. Like it was awesome just as much watching Roman as it was the Usos. And they've turned Jimmy into a fucking stooge where he's just out there he's the Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe of the corporation. Like, what are we doing with Jimmy?
Do you think they were trying to keep him and Jay apart from each other? Obviously, they were 1 and 2 in the Rumble, which I thought that was a cool move. Do you think they were trying to be like, we're going to keep pushing that off because that match has to happen at WrestleMania? I think that's a WrestleMania worthy match. I think it'll happen this year too.
I agree that that's what they were doing, but like they kept it relevant by having them 1 and 2 in the Rumble. Why wouldn't you have Team Jimmy versus Team Jay at Survivor Series?
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah. That would have been really
Why didn't you do that? Yeah, what the fuck? Like that felt like a no-brainer to me. I thought the second that there was a rift between Jimmy and Jay, and you're looking at the calendar, you're like, we are 7 or 8 months away from WrestleMania. I think at the time it was like 9 months. It's like we're 9 months away from WrestleMania. How are we going to keep this not like we don't want to give the audience what we're trying to give them at WrestleMania, but how do we keep it fresh and keep it going? All right, Jimmy, Team Jay versus Team Jimmy at Survivor Series. Why the fuck didn't you do that? But whatever. I mean, it was cool to see them 1 and 2 at the Rumble, though. But
I thought that was great. Yeah, they put him on the back burner for the Judgment Day. Kind of the Judgment Day has kind of stepped into the role that the Bloodline was in of like the big faction every week on Raw, which we heard that was going to happen before they were like WWE sees Judgment Day as the next Bloodline. I don't think they've ever gotten to there yet, but Rhea and Dom are doing a really good job every week.
I mean, they've just I'm not saying that I don't like it, but they literally just looked at the Bloodline. They're like, oh, they added a funny guy. Who's the funny guy that we're going to add? And it's like, all right, yeah, like R-Truth is the perfect, like R-Truth made the Rumble for me because I was so disappointed to see
he was
Cody
the best part of the men's Rumble.
And the women.
He was a great part of the women's Rumble too. Yeah, he came out in the women's. Him coming in. Did you see the video of him entering the arena with his luggage and everything? He just looks at the camera. He's like, "Happy WrestleMania Day." Like, his simplest, dumbest comedy works so well from him. His delivery, his acting, everything. Him asking for the hot tag in the Rumble and getting it, and the crowd popping for it. That was so fucking good. This guy's been so funny he's been funny for decades in the WWE.
So long. And the best part about R-Truth's comedy is like there will be certain guys that they do something funny in WWE and they're like, oh, that got a big reaction. Now I'll just do that all the time. Like R-Truth is doing all kinds of like, if he does something that's hilarious, it's like, all right, that was funny, but what else can I do that's funny? Like he's not just doing the same thing over and over and over again. But yeah, even like doing like the John Cena thing, I can't tell because like I was hammered for the Rumble. So I was dying laughing when he was doing that. I couldn't tell how much of that was alcohol influence, but that was the standout moment of the Rumble was R-Truth. But yeah, they're kind of just taking the Bloodline concept, but like I don't know, like who's the Roman Reigns of Judgment Day? Is it Damian or is it Finn Balor? I can't really tell at this point.
They don't really have one, which I thought should have been more of the Judgment Day storyline should be the fight for power. Because like they don't really have that clear. They say so-and-so is the leader, so-and-so is the leader. But like Rhea's kind of like, to me, Rhea should be the leader of that thing.
Yeah.
She's been doing the best work over the last year. Having Dom as her like little guy on the side, like that's perfect. So yeah, I don't know. I like the Judgment Day. I like what they're doing with R-Truth, but yeah, they haven't reached the peak of the Bloodline. They're not even close to that.
No, and I don't think that they're capable of it, which is fine because I think that they've reached the tier right below it.
Yeah.
But to your point, like Rhea is the star of that group. Like her pop, she's a heel, and she gets that baby face like tweener pop when she does come out. I think the fans have kind of gravitated towards her, and like the whole like, have you been to a WWE show since Dom started to get this nuclear heat?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's nuclear. It really is.
I can't think of anyone that's come close. Like in terms of that loud crowd reaction on the negative end, besides Roman at the fucking Philly Rumble.
To make a weird familial connection in a roundabout way, I think it might be Vicky Guerrero might be the last one to get a reaction like that, where they literally will not let her get a word in. And it's just like the second that music hits, everyone's like, oh, fuck this. And it's like fun to hate, you know, like I think people are coming around on Dom, because when he first started and he was still a baby face with Ray, the talk was he's green, everyone's saying that. Now I think people are appreciating how good he is at being the chicken shit heel, and they're loving to hate him.
Yes. It is that's like one of the draws where, you know, you go to a WWE show back in the 90s, it's like, well, Stone Cold's there, I got to see someone get a stunner. Like it's like one of the boxes that you absolutely have to check if you're going to see a show live in person. Now it's like, oh, I can't wait to boo the fuck out of Dom Mysterio. Like that's one of the boxes that a fan is looking to check if you're just going to see them live. But anyways, I love what the Judgment Day is doing. Who's the other fucking guy? Who's the random? I can do without him. I know that he's like a lifelong friend of Finn Balor, and that's the only reason why he's in there.
Oh, I know. I constantly am forgetting his name. JT, is it JT something?
I don't even know.
So bad that we don't know. Two guys doing a wrestling podcast. We don't know one of the members of the Judgment Day, but he's got to get out of the Judgment Day. Like,
it's just
no offense, but it's not clicking. It's not working there.
No, and I get that, and like I'm pretty sure there was like a part of the storyline along the way where someone lost the match or he lost the match to kick him out of the Judgment Day, and then he was just back in the Judgment Day the next week, and they never explained why. Like it wasn't enforced.
JD McDonough. That's
JD McDonough,
not JT. JD McDonough. That's right.
JD McDonough. Yeah. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I just don't get what purpose you serve. He's honestly, the purpose that he serves is the pinfall guy. Like whenever Judgment Day has like a tag match or like a 3-on-3, it's like you're the guy that's going to take the pinfall so that Finn and Damian still look strong.
Yeah. So we touched on it, but the Rumble as a whole, I wasn't thrilled with. The men's Rumble, at least, I didn't think was great. We didn't really get a lot of surprises. Andrade was kind of the big surprise. Braun Breaker came up from NXT, which he had a good showing in the Rumble. I thought he looked great. I still cannot believe that they're not letting him use the Steiner name. And he's made Braun Breaker a name at this point, but like, he's a Steiner. He's wearing the Steiner gear. He looks exactly like a Steiner. And that's like one of the biggest wrestling families in the history of wrestling. Why not let him use that?
I found out that he was a Steiner the night of the Rumble. I didn't know that.
What, when he walked out and you looked at his face, you were like, that guy is the son of a Steiner.
Yeah, I had people over for the Rumble, and someone made a comment about like, yeah, that's Steiner's kid, and I was like, yeah, I know, he looks just like him. He's like, no, that is. Yeah. I thought he was just like making fun of him or something. I was like, oh, I had no idea. I've known who Braun Breaker is for a while because Jimmy Stewart interviewed him, so like that's what put him on my radar. Like anyone that like Jimmy's like the fucking. He's like the MLB prospects guy. Like he'll just, if he brings up like someone, I don't know who anyone in NXT is until like he's like, oh, I love Braun Breaker. Like I'm like, okay, all right. So he's on my radar now. Had no idea that he was a Steiner. Who's his dad?
Rick, I believe. Rick Steiner.
Okay. Got it.
He was taking Brock's spot, allegedly, because the whole Vince McMahon lawsuit, Brock was a big part of that, and they had to get him the fuck out of the Rumble. So allegedly, Brock was supposed to eliminate all those people and then get eliminated by Dom, and they were going to work a match at the Elimination Chamber. Yeah. Now, cool. Does Braun just come to the main roster and take his spot in general? I could see Braun versus Dom at Elimination Chamber, and then something like Braun versus Gunther at Mania, because they had that face-off, and the crowd loved it. The crowd responded very well to it. So I don't know. I feel like Braun's done everything there is to do in NXT. Get him up on the main roster by now.
Yeah. Yes, but then you also have to figure the casual fan that's like, who is this guy? Why do I care if he faces off against Dom? Like if you're not watching NXT, then I mean, even like the stuff that like Dom has done in NXT has been super interesting and like fun to watch, but like not everyone is watching both, especially when you're asking fans to watch 3 hours on Monday and 2 hours on Friday.
And if they're huge wrestling fans, they're watching AEW on Wednesdays and Fridays too. There's a lot of wrestling right now. It's not a problem for wrestling fans. I'll take as much wrestling as you can give me, but it is a lot of content. And then the
like
big thing from the Rumble. Go ahead.
What? I was just gonna say, I think I told you this a few weeks ago. The only time I watch NXT is when I forget that it's Tuesday. Like I'll like sit down. What was it? There was like a holiday. It was like around Christmas. So like the whole like WWE schedule got mixed up, and like there was no live Raw on Monday or whatever it was. And I sat down. I was like, oh, Monday Night Raw, and I was like, this is fucking NXT. Like, oh, it's Tuesday. That's why.
The big storyline coming out of the Rumble, though, and it's a real life storyline, is that CM Punk was injured in the midst of the match. He was only in the match for like 10 minutes, but he took a future shock DDT from Drew McIntyre and tore his triceps for the second time in 2 years, I think. The torn triceps was the injury he had the night Brawl Out happened. Also broke his foot in AEW. People are calling him injury prone, this, that, the next thing. I wrote my blog. I'm like, I'm not even worried about fucking injury prone labels like that. I'm just bummed. This felt like literally the perfect timing, the perfect match for WrestleMania. He comes into the company at Survivor Series after all the drama in AEW, after 10 years spent away, and he's finally going to get his WrestleMania main event. We got 2 nights now. He can main event with Seth. They have the built-in real-life storyline there, and then it all gets taken away from us by good old Drew McIntyre, who, if we're being honest, Drew is playing this perfect.
Great heel
I assume Punk gave him the okay to, fucking literally dance on his grave the way he's doing it on Twitter and stuff. But really, really just a bummer, a hit to WrestleMania season.
I'm devastated. I mean, like to cross over to what I do primarily, the Red Sox are fucking awful. The owners aren't spending money, and like wrestling is my escape from how shitty my normal existence is. And then Punk gets hurt. Like I mean, I waited 10 years. Like I know like some guys go away and then they come back and you're not really thinking, it's just like on to the next and whatever. Like, I mean, I basically, I filled that time being a huge Roman guy, ride or die. It's not like there was nothing for me while Punk was gone, but Punk was always on the back of my mind about like one day, like, are we going to see it? Are we going to see it? Like and all the times that he said, never, ever, like, I'm never coming back. Like, I didn't fucking believe him. And he might have meant that in the moment, but there's just way too many examples. All the examples. Like, I don't think that there's one example of someone leaving on bad terms and not coming back. Even the most terrible terms. Like Bret Hart was like, Vince McMahon killed my brother and then he came back. Like, there's not much that can happen that will make someone be like, I am never coming back. I surely I left the door open for Punk to be that first guy just because I know how stubborn he can be, but eventually old age will soften you. And I think that that's what happened. It's like, and I'm sure that he's probably having those thoughts now of, man, if I wasn't so stubborn, like how many years of my prime where my body was able to do this did I waste just being stubborn? And I'm sure he's having those thoughts right now. I mean, like the foot injury, that was just a freak accident. He's a fucking idiot for jumping into the stands or whatever. I'm sure he regrets that. But as far as like wear and tear and like, popping your tricep twice, that feels like, your body is failing you. Like you're just, you have physical limitations in your mid 40s that you obviously didn't experience in your 30s, your early 30s. And I mean, he wrestled so much. There's so many miles on his body from the bingo halls and the Ring of Honors and all that shit. But it's sad. Like I felt it was a gut punch because I did wait those 10 years. Like I fucking waited patiently for those 10 years. And then I wish we recorded the reactions to his return. Like I was shocked, stunned, like borderline emotional seeing him actually come back. I didn't believe my eyes. I thought it was a troll, like a cruel, like I thought that they like, I thought that they like cut to commercial and that was like a replay or something. Like there's no way that this is happening. And like, I did not fucking believe it. So to have that moment and, see him come back at the Rumble, like, to me, like, yeah, like, it was his first televised match was like the Rumble, but like, it's the Rumble. It's not a match. It's different to me. So like, I didn't get the satisfaction of like a true Punk return just through the Rumble. Like, it was gonna be that fucking pop when it's 90,000 people and Cult of Personality. Obviously, I don't think that this is the end. Like, I don't think he's going to have a moment where he comes back and says, like, I'm retiring, like, my body can't handle it. I think he'll be back in whatever. They'll bring him back in 4 to 6 months, which is the recovery time. But we're going to have to wait a whole fucking year to get that WrestleMania moment. And by then, like, what will the landscape be? Like, will it make sense for Punk to main event? Because, like, shit happens. Like, Daniel Bryan was a fucking squash match in WrestleMania. What was it, 27? Fucking
29
13.
The night before. Or yeah.
Yeah, absolute squash match. And then it went from that to this guy better main event WrestleMania and he better win. Like, and after, like, you just don't know. A year is a long time in the wrestling world to where, I mean, look at Sami Zayn. I mean, it's not like he got to cap that story off, but like Sami Zayn was a complete afterthought in the wrestling fans' minds to like a very prominent figure in the main event scene to main eventing one of the rowdiest main events that we've seen in quite some time, like probably since Money in the Bank 2011, that Roman match. So that's kind of where I get worried is like you have the return in November and like CM Punk is hot and we need this main event. All right, well, who the fuck? Like a year after the following WrestleMania, are people still going to want that as badly? Like
it depends on how well they got to play the injury storyline. They have to do like Cody recovering from his pec injury and coming back and winning the Rumble. Like I feel like fans will get behind Punk in that way if you present it the right way. Maybe a WWE Network documentary about his fucking road to recovery, joining the Rumble, winning the Rumble. I think that can work. I also think if Cody's champ by then, like that could be a fucking WrestleMania main event right there. Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. You bleed in some of that brawl out stuff. You see Cody after he won, he did like the 2 kisses like that and then one for the gun. And everyone's like, he shot out the Bucks and Kenny right after throwing Punk over the top rope. So I don't know. Like even there's the clip from Raw that they tweeted today of Punk crying after his promo, which was great and amazing, like very emotional, real promo. He goes back to Gorilla and he tells Cody, like, finish your story. Fucking go do it. So you use that clip, you put it in the promo. I think it'll work. My question is, who do they replace Punk with this year? Like Drew seems obvious, the guy who injured Punk, like stepping up into the main event. But then you got LA Knight, who I don't know what they're doing with him, but strike while the iron's hot. He's still so fucking over right now. You got a guy like Gunther. You have Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, just hanging around. I don't know what's happening there. Who would you replace Punk with?
I feel like it has to be Drew. And as you mentioned earlier, Brock is going to be out of the picture for maybe forever. And we don't know.
I predict forever. I predict we'll never see him ever again because he sounded dead set on retiring pre-Vince, leaving. Like he was going to retire. He wanted the match with Drew in the fucking empty warehouse to be his last match, which is strange. But he was like, I don't give a shit about that big retirement stuff. Vince got him back in due to allegedly horrific stuff in this lawsuit. Yeah. And then when Vince announced he was resigning or whatever, there was the report Brock walked out, like he left and came back to Raw that night. And now that kind of makes a little more sense. He's a Vince guy. So I don't think it's crazy to say, I don't think we'll ever see Brock Lesnar on WWE television ever again.
Yeah. So his last match was the one against Cody, right?
At SummerSlam, was that his last one? I think it might have been. Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. So that, I
was there for it. Maybe I was there for his last match.
Yeah. And he kind of like broke kayfabe a little bit. And it almost like, now that I'm looking back on it, it didn't make sense for him to kind of break kayfabe and have like that, like send off. Like he was saying goodbye to the crowd. And
did he know something that we didn't like?
Yeah. Like it was very not storyline, very not the current character of Brock. I mean, like that whole storyline leading up to Cody and Brock was he would just beat the shit out of Cody in front of his family and shit. It's like you were being a bully asshole. And then, you have the end of the match. And you're like, yay, we're buddies now. It's like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, makes
Yeah.
no sense at all. So yeah, maybe he did know that like this is it for me. I don't know, but it certainly reads that way with all the full context.
Yeah. I would like to see LA Knight in the title picture at WrestleMania. Like, even if you want to do a triple threat, if you want to do Roman, Cody, Knight too, I would like to see Seth versus Drew versus LA Knight,
LA
even
Knight.
if just to continue the tradition of
What do you
triple
do with
threats
Randy?
on even numbered manias.
What about Randy?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know what you do with Randy. Like,
What about
obviously,
AJ?
people are stoked to have him back right now. I don't know. AJ, he's really in limbo to me. Like, that match I didn't love either at the Rumble, to be honest. The Fatal 4-Way for Roman's title, I don't know if it was just because the finish was such a foregone conclusion. You couldn't even buy into any of the all other false finishes with,
Yeah.
anyone but Roman winning. But yeah, that was okay to me. I liked Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul at the Rumble. I thought that was good. They obviously are continuing that. I think that'll probably be a Mania match. I think if you want to do a street fight, hardcore, TLC, ladder match, anything like that with those two, that's your viral moment you can get. Logan Paul jumping off a ladder, Kevin Owens taking the craziest bumps you've ever seen a human being take. I like the
Isn't his
finish of that
foot
one too.
broken?
People were shitting on the finish. Huh?
Isn't his foot broken?
Kevin Owens?
Yeah.
I think his hand is fucked up,
He has a
which is
fracture
what
in
they're
his
playing
foot
on.
in real life. No
I think
shoot.
he's I think he's still gonna make WrestleMania. I'd be surprised if he didn't. I haven't talked to him about
I'm
that,
saying
but
I don't think he's gonna miss WrestleMania, but I think in terms of having that fucking crazy hardcore match, he might have some limitations if his foot's broken. But then again, Undertaker's
maybe
foot
that's the
was
smoke and
broken
mirrors.
during
You
Hell
need to
in a Cell.
hide it.
Yeah.
Like maybe you need some fucking weapons and some crazy shit like that. Let Logan Paul do all the high flying shit and let Kevin Owens be the brawler.
Yeah.
But the women's rumble, I liked a lot. I thought the women's rumble from Jordan Grace being like a cool, okay, TNA's in the rumble again. They did that with Mickey. They did it with Jordan Grace. Bailey winning was cool. I think it's very deserved after she spent the last year, I think, wrestling and losing more matches than anyone in the company. I think they looked at the stats and were like, you know what? Let's give Bailey one. Like, let's have
Yeah.
her get a big win here. She obviously has the storyline with EO that you could run into there. Jade Cargill, great debut for her.
Oh.
I thought she looked great in the Rumble. The fact that she picked Nia up and did the Cesaro Big Show moment, like that was great. Her face off with Bianca was great. The crowd loved that. The way they shot it with the WrestleMania sign in the back. Like I think this was a really enjoyable and good eliminations. KOD on the apron, the fucking 619 on the outside that eliminated Becky. This was like really well put together.
It was a good rumble. The women's one. Jade far exceeded my expectations only because I didn't know much about her until she signed with WWE. And then they just like protected her for so long, making it seem like she's not ready. And like she doesn't have the skills. And then she came out and I was like, this girl is like 10 times better than most of the shit that they put out. I was like, what did we wait so long for? What the fuck was that about? Like, she was great. I think one of the big complaints amongst fans was the generic shitty themes of them.
Yeah.
Like, they were getting no reactions. And I guess like if you were there, it was hard to see the Titantron of like people were waiting for like
you see the
names to
video of
pop up.
Seth?
What?
There's a video of Seth Rollins. You know, they had Seth and Roman in a box during the Royal Rumble to be like, which champ, whatever. There's a video of Seth reacting to music, and the music hits, and he's like, and you can see him look at the screen to see who it is, and then he reacts. It's like Seth Rollins doesn't even fucking know the music. He's there every week. He's there for the house shows when they're playing the music. He's friends with these guys. If he doesn't know, you've got an issue. And I agree. That's actually been an issue for the last couple Rumbles. I don't know who they got doing music right now. I don't want to shit on them, but it ain't CFO $sign anymore.
It's
CFO $sign, their themes were getting recognized. Obviously, the old Jim Johnston themes, if there were any left in the Rumble that I can't remember, like Natalia, she's got a Jim Johnston theme. It's the Bret Hart theme. But like those themes are at least memorable and have like a good opening to cue you into who it's going to be. All the rest of the new ones, they're like generic rock DVD menu music.
Yeah, it really is. Like there wasn't a lot of I mean, for me too, like that's something that I've prided myself on since I was a kid. Like I remember when I was in like 3rd grade, whenever like WWF The Music Volume 3 came out. And like I used to have my dad quiz me. Like we would put the CD on shuffle, and then he would hit skip and then be like, "Who's this?" And I would tell him. And then at first he was impressed, and he was just like, if you just like cared this much about like science and math, then like you wouldn't you wouldn't have D's.
Like maybe we shouldn't be studying slow chemical Kane. Like maybe we should be studying something else.
Yeah, like I'm glad you know Val Venus's entrance theme, but like can we study the element table one time? So yeah, like I am a big time proponent of wrestling entrance. It's one of my favorite things, the fucking entrances. I love it. Most wrestling fans do. Like that's part of it. But when you have these like dinky ass generic themes, it's so disappointing. Like you almost put yourself, because when we were doing From the Top Rope full time, I remember asking some of the guys like, "Hey, do you work out to your wrestling entrance theme?" Like, because some of them are fucking like they're sick. Like, what wouldn't you like?
Remember my favorite answer to that was Kevin Owens. He was like, "Do I look like I work out to my entrance theme?"
Yeah. Seth Rollins thought it was a preposterous question. He was like, "No." Yeah. Hated it. But yeah, they've got to really figure that out. And I think, you know, like WWE is very online. I think that they do pay attention to the complaints. Maybe they do address that by the next Rumble, because like to what you said earlier, no surprises. Like there are still guys from the attic, like strike while you still can. Like these dudes,
X-Pac. Like, how many years do we have to ask for X-Pac?
Yeah, dude. I like, so you know, not to I mean, it's fine now because the Rumble's over, but I remember like X-Pac tweeted something about like, I'm not gonna be in the Rumble, and then I tweeted him the gif of like, yeah, sure, okay. And like he messaged me after. He messaged me. Yeah, I didn't want to like ruin anyone's surprise, but he was like, brother, they really have.
He tries to do that. Like he does tweet like almost every year now, like, I'm not fucking with you guys. I don't want you to be disappointed. I'm not going to be in the Rumble. And all of us give him the okay, like, sure you won't. Like, break it down, it's gonna hit, brother. And it's like, why wouldn't you use it? We saw matches last year. I think he wrestled Joey Janela. He had a couple GCW matches where he looked great. X-Pac can get in there and do all his old shit. He can do the fucking Bronco Buster. He could do the fucking spin kick. He could do all that shit and get tossed over by Dom. And, you know, that would be a highlight of the night. If X-Pac came out and was in the match for a minute, 60 seconds total before getting thrown out, it would have been people in that arena as one of their favorite moments of the whole night. Getting to pop to the DX music hitting and fucking X-Pac coming out and hitting Suck It and everything. Like, why aren't they capitalizing on the Attitude Era stars that can still do this? It's so strange.
Bizarre.
It's frustrating too, because like the Rumbles we grew up with had such amazing surprises. That was what made the Rumble, and made you want to invite friends over and be like, you never know what's going to happen. Now you invite friends over and you're like, Andrade. And they're like, who?
Like, who the fuck is that? And the reason why I was so disappointed with this Rumble is because I want to say last year or the year before, I mean, going into it publicly, we knew of like 23 out of the 23 guys were like, I'm declaring for the Royal Rumble. And it's like, all right, how many fucking surprise entrants can possibly be left? And then this year, there was much less of that. So I was like, oh, like they're leaving plenty of spots open for like, who the fuck's going to show up this year? Ken Shamrock, another guy. Like there's a bunch of guys that
love that.
And so there's an inside joke with my wrestling text, what is it called? Group chat. My wrestling group chat is called Dork Party. And our recurring inside joke is we are just waiting for Gangrel. We're waiting for Gangrel. Like when Edge came back and used the Brood theme, we were like, holy fuck, this has got to be it. This is the Gangrel spot. And like they didn't bring him back for that. And we were like, oh, like when the fuck else are we gonna get him? And then I think, has he done anything with AEW recently, like in the last couple of years? No,
I think he did something. Yeah, I think he did something at some point. He's been around in some capacity, because I remember seeing Gangrel a few years ago and being like, oh fuck, Gangrel, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we are just fucking dying for the Gangrel spot. Like we have been waiting for a long time to see him come back. And it's like, why not? Like these guys they've got to be mid 50s now at this point. Like if you're going to go back to the Attitude Era, like there's only so many guys that could physically get in there and do 2-3 minutes in a Rumble match.
Dude,
like, you're not
Rob
bringing
Van
them back
Dam this year, like Battle Creek, Michigan, get him in there. He's got a year or two left in him. You could do that. I don't know.
They brought
know what the answer is.
We've done the RVD Rumble return. Like I need someone where it's like, holy fuck, I forgot he was alive.
Dude, we've done it so many times that going in when people were like, maybe RVD, I was kind of like, we've done that before. But looking back, I would have liked RVD in that Rumble. We didn't get anyone else where it's like, and I do want to address, we said we were going to go to the Rumble. We did not go to the Rumble. That was my fault this year. My dog had a hospital visit that cost way too much money. It's ridiculous. She's fine now, which is great. Healthy, happy dog. But next year, we will start our Rumble party. And I think maybe that might be for the best. This year, it was a good show. I don't think it was a bad show by any means. But hopefully next year, they listen to this constructive criticism and throw fucking X-Pac in the Rumble for us. That would make the first Rumble for Jared and Robbie to be an awesome one.
Yeah, either X-Pac or go fuck yourself. And I even said that. I said that the morning after. I was like, thank God that we didn't go to that one because it's at Tropicana Field, which like I got a good laugh out of WWE boasting that they broke the attendance record. Like Punk could break the attendance record at Tropicana Field. Like come on,
they can't sell out playoff games. Like they can't sell out the entire upper deck for a playoff game. They tarp it off pretty much.
Yeah. There's like 43 people for those games. But next year, do we know where it is next year?
We don't yet. No, we don't know where that or the next WrestleMania is going to be. The rumors about WrestleMania are Minnesota. London. I think the Vikings have a new stadium. Yeah, I don't know if it's new. I think they've been there for like 5 or 6 years, but that's the rumor, which I don't know. I get that it's indoors, but I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to Minnesota. No offense, listeners from Minnesota. I just don't want to go anywhere cold. You know?
Me neither. Yeah, it was nice that
even this year, Philly, like I'm probably going to go this year in Philly just because it's so close. I'd like to go. But we went to 35. We went to 29. It was fucking freezing.
It was cold. I was not warm.
I don't know. Are you thinking about going to 40 this year?
No, not that Punk's gone.
Really?
I mean, no Punk. Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking go. I'm gonna go
all the way to see Roman lose. Yeah, no fucking way. I'm not going to see Roman lose. I'm not going to see if I'm gonna go to Mania, it's gonna be to see Punk win. But the other thing too is they are now which I like, assuming that the time is right, but they're doing more of these international shows. So I mean, we got this idea to start going to the Rumble every year. It's all well and good until the fucking Rumble is in goddamn Egypt.
I'm not. We'll have to rethink that maybe. Elimination Chamber next month, or maybe next month, February, is in Australia. I think it's a 70,000 seat arena. Like I think it's WrestleMania sized Elimination Chamber this year, which we had the rumors about The Rock and Roman. Rock came back, teased the head of the table thing. What happened with that? What happened to The Rock?
So everything that I've been reading, because I always want to say hearing, but it's like I don't have any fucking inside sources in wrestling. It's like everything that I've been reading is that this is what he does. He teases year-long builds. Like he wants Roman at WrestleMania next year, and that was the plan all along, and that Punk's injury doesn't change anything, and Seth's injury, like none of that changes anything about this. Because that's what they just teased on Raw, was Seth coming out being like, hey, how about the workhorse title? How about Dusty's title? And this is how you finish the story. And logically, that makes a ton of sense. But everyone's gonna be like, well, no, he lost to Roman, so it's like you're finishing the story. It's like I don't know, but that's
you're not a fan. You want this story to keep going.
I want him to fucking keep losing.
I want this fucking story finished. Close the book on the story. We're all good. We got it. And I think The Rock might be part of that.
Cody?
No, having the title, no, because you can't put it off any longer. Put it off any longer, meme. It's like this guy is a loser who's never going to win the title. He should have won it last year. He has to win it this year. I think The Rock might help him win it this year. I could see Solo coming out trying to fucking help, and then The Rock coming out and being like, we don't do it that way in our family. And then almost like WrestleMania 27, where he set up the 28 match with Cena in the main event there. I think that might happen this year because, like you said, he loves those year-long, hey, how about next year I face you for the head of the table? I think that might happen. I mean, would The Rock potentially face him at SummerSlam? Like, is The Rock like, I'm only coming back and doing a match if it's WrestleMania? Because I feel like timing-wise, that would be kind of cool. If The Rock cost Roman the title at WrestleMania, and then at SummerSlam, we got the head of the table matchup, that'd be fucking awesome. That being said, you can't headline Cody over that, and it'll make Cody and the title look lesser than if there's the co-main event to that. I don't know what the answer is. You might have to do it next year just so you have Cody on night 1, them on night 2.
Fuck Cody's story. I'm so sick
Bro,
of
but
having
do you
to
like the Rock story better than Cody's story?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
The Rock, I mean, put it this way. Like, you have Peter High Chief Maivia, and then Rocky Johnson, and then The Rock, and then that lineage goes down to Roman Reigns, who, I mean, like, yeah, like maybe Roman Reigns doesn't end up on the all-time Mount Rushmore of WWE, but he's on the second one. If there's a tier 2 fucking Mount Rushmore, Roman Reigns is on it, and you can debate The Rock being on the first one. So, like, yeah, I care way more about, like, you know, when you had Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17, one of the best main events.
18.
And it wasn't even the fucking main event. Was it 18?
No, 18.
17.
Yeah, because there's Jericho and Triple H in the main event.
Yeah, so it didn't even main event. But one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. And then you have WrestleMania 28 and 29, where you have The Rock passing it down to John Cena. Like, you have those things, but like The Rock, it's like John Cena then passed it down to Roman, but The Rock being able to do that with Roman is just, I care way more about that. Like, once Cody, quote unquote, finishes his story, the only interesting feud for him is fucking Punk.
No, the Seth feud you could go right back to. Drew McIntyre, I'm down with Gunther.
They already did
That's
that.
built in from the Rumble last year.
Seth and Cody 5 fucking times.
They're going to go back to it for sure. Not right away, because they won't unify the titles. They won't go title for title.
Right.
I'm worried that The Rock can't go now. I mean, like, let's be honest.
Yeah, so let's wait another fucking 29.
Year. But that's the thing. WrestleMania 29 against Cena, he was tearing every fucking muscle off his bone in that match and slowing down. This is over 10 years later. He came out and did the people's elbow to Jinder, and he was gassed. He was straight up out of gas. The tank was empty. So I'm like, I get it. He can put the work in and fucking get in cardio shape, but can he get in wrestling shape again with his current schedule? I don't know. That's why I'm way more interested in the Cody feud. And I wanted the Cody to win the Rumble, because I was like, that match at WrestleMania last year was incredible. I think if Cody won that match, we would be looking back and calling it like one of the best WrestleMania main events ever. People hated the finish so much that they don't even want to think about it. But man, that's the match. And I think Cody's going to prove with the title, like, he's the face of the company. Look at how he fucking answered the Vince question at the presser. Triple H was skirting all those. Cody gave an answer that John Cena in his prime would have given.
Yeah. No, he has a lot of John Cena characteristics to him, where he's safe. He's over as a babyface. He's not getting the John Cena negative reactions yet. Nope. But I think if you try to continue to be like 80s Hogan, like drink your milk, take your vitamins, and all that corny shit, eventually,
he's
like,
not corny though. He's good with his promos. That's the thing. He's not doing the fucking I'm a white meat baby face.
Bob, he's corny. Bro fucking apologized after winning the Rumble. He fucking apologized to the crowd for losing at WrestleMania. Like, fucking save it, dude. Like, that shit's corny. Like,
because he's trying to be and he looked at all the faces of the people in the crowd.
He's trying to be the sympathetic, woe is me. Like, he's gaslighting us. Like,
bro, I'm going to have to fucking bleach my hair and put on a weight belt for WrestleMania, because this is insane slander.
It's not slander. I'm why are you booing me? I'm right. Like, this is again, it's nothing personal. I'm just looking down the line and seeing the reaction that John Cena got for being the clean-cut babyface, and eventually, you know, it was polarizing. It wasn't completely that the crowd turned on him. Like, when The Rock first debuted and he was smiling and he was the clean cut baby face, like everyone, they told him to die. But like with Cody, I think eventually, yeah, like fans will kind of see through the, like you're trying to be PG and you're trying to be like the idol for the kids,
no, but
and
he's
fuck
not.
the kids.
He's not.
He is.
Cody's the kind of guy who, if they let him, he would blade in every match, dude. He would do the flaming tables.
But he's not
and the
doing that.
He's a psychopath.
But he's not.
Yeah, because he can't.
But he can't. They brought back blood. They brought back blood.
And Cody's gonna bleed at WrestleMania. I bet he's gonna be fucking Ric Flair bleeding like a stuffed pig. Like Cody, he's not what, stuck pig?
Yeah, bleeding like a stuck pig, like a scalded dog.
Oh, I always did stuffed. What a fucking moron I am. Yeah. Why would a stuffed pig bleed? Yeah. Oh, what a dope I am. I have written down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches that I think are gonna happen at WrestleMania. Just want to run down them. We'll go through what the maybe card is going to be. So I think Rhea is probably going to defend against Becky. I think that probably makes the most sense at this point. And they've been talking about it in media interviews where Rhea wants to face Becky. So if Bayley is facing Io Sky, those are probably the 2 women's title matches. I also think Jade Cargill will face Bianca Belair. I think for her first WrestleMania match, you put her in there with someone who's main evented WrestleMania against Sasha.
What about Nia?
And can definitely carry her.
Put Nia in there.
You can't do Nia and Jade.
Why?
Nia is a liability. She is going to hurt somebody.
You don't think she's improved?
No.
Listen, there was no bigger Nia hater than me. I don't know. When she was actually hurting people, I was like, why the fuck do they keep letting her come back? Like, I was very vocal about not liking Nia Jax. I mean, but I'm fair. I'm unbiased.
She hasn't hurt anybody recently, I guess, but like,
I think she's made noticeable
improvements. Put her in there with Jade. I don't know. Like, that's the thing. I would trust Nia and Bianca. I trust Bianca to like not get hurt, but like Jade is also new enough where I'm like, do you want one of your newest big stars like in there with a liability, someone who can injure her? I don't know. I could see that being a triple threat. Maybe even a fatal 4-way if they want to get another person in there on the roster or whatever. But
what else do you do with Nia? They brought her back to be this monster, and they're building her back up again.
Don't put her on WrestleMania, please.
I mean, hasn't she been going after Rhea too? Like everyone's going after Rhea, but
yeah. I think Gunther Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental could be a real thing. I also think Gunther should probably lose the IC strap at Mania this year, not necessarily because I don't think he's good with it. I think he should be moved right up into the world title picture. He's a main eventer at this point. I think he's proved that he is the real deal. He's one of the best people on the roster. I love Imperium. I love him having his special entrance, an entrance that everyone actually does know. So I would take the title off of him and give someone the shine like Braun Breaker, but boost him right up. Maybe have him against Seth for the title at SummerSlam or something like that. I also think Kevin Owens, Logan Paul, as we talked about, for the US title. Jay and Jimmy seems obvious. That could kick off Mania. That seems like a perfect, like, people are going to go crazy for that. So they'll be eager for it. And then I had Punk and Rollins at this point, probably McIntyre Rollins. Does that main event night 1? Does that feel worthy of a night 1 main event to you?
I feel like they don't have, because you can't do Brock and Gunther. Like, that could have been a night 1 main event. You're not going to be able to do that. You can't do Punk and Rollins. I mean, I guess if you want to make the title feel important, which it should, like, I don't look at it as not important, but it's not quite to the point where you're like, man,
Steph's title. Yeah,
like it's not.
They're trying to sell us on it being important every week, and they're trying as hard as they can. It's just never going to be as important as Roman's. That's the thing, is whenever there's 2 titles in the brand split, there's always one real title. It's like the World Heavyweight Championship used to open WrestleMania, and the WWE Championship would close the show. We're in a similar position here. Would you main event Rollins and McIntyre, or would you main event Becky and Rhea for night 1 if they wanted to lift that title up? Like, Rhea's been the face of that division for a year now.
Yeah.
And shoulders above everyone else. She's kind of earned a main event spot.
It's a good question, but put it this way. Yes, Rhea deserves to main event night 1, but is it fair to Seth that he gets the main event taken away because Punk got hurt? Like Punk has,
Seth has had an emotional roller coaster too.
Seth has been fucking fighting through it. He's been defending the title. He defends it on Raw. He defends
Where
it
Jinder
on
injured him, right?
Yep, like he's had the back injury, he's got the knee injury, and at no point did he say, "Man, I'm gonna drop this title so that I can rehab or get surgery, or I just need some time off, so I'm gonna drop the title." He hasn't done that because I think it's important to him that there's a fighting champion on television, and I think it's important to him that the title matters. And if you're looking at it from his perspective, he might say, if it's not me, then who? Who else is around right now? I mean, this is back when before Randy Orton came back. I think he could elevate that title too. But like, who do you put that
Orton
on?
in there? That's a good point, dude. Like, if you're struggling for a main event aura around McIntyre Rollins, maybe you make it a triple threat with Orton or a fatal four-way with Orton and LA Knight. And then it's like, whoa, now you got a bunch of people the crowd loves. LA Knight, he's another one where I don't have him on my list of WrestleMania matches, but he needs a big one. Like, what are you doing with him? Strike while the iron's hot. The crowd loves him. He is as over as anyone right now. And there's not really like a clear path for WrestleMania.
He hit his peak. People are starting to turn a little bit on LA Knight, where it's like when people didn't see it in him, that's when like the internet wrestling community was like, you're wrong. Like, he's our guy. And now that everyone's like, he's our guy, now people are like, well, he's not that special. So he's in a weird spot.
I still think his reactions speak for themselves. They're crazy.
Yeah, no, he still gets big pops. I don't know, like, who, because they already burned
the
feud
beat
with
Gunther.
The Miz.
Maybe have him beat Gunther for the IC.
Yeah. Is that a step down, though, because he's already had 2 title shots?
Maybe, yeah.
It's a consolation prize.
I don't know, because Gunther has, this might sound weird, Gunther having that title, it's almost more prestigious than Seth's title to me, just because of how long his reign has gone on. You know, like,
and he's just more
like
physically
the secondary
imposing.
Title.
Like Gunther feels more unbeatable as the IC champ than Seth does as the world heavyweight champ.
Yeah. And dude, his feud with Chad Gable this year or last year was so fucking good. I would put Gable in a main event with him and have them run back one of their awesome matches where Gable's fucking deadlift German suplexing Gunther, throwing him around the ring. Like, I would have Gable win the title if you want. Like, I think he definitely has to drop it to somebody this year because also he could only hold that for so much longer. What else can he do with the IC title at this point?
Yeah. He's graduated.
Yeah. Maybe you do the WrestleMania 6 thing and he just gets a title shot with the IC title. He's like, I'm doing
warrior.
Both. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, though. I still think WrestleMania is going to be good this year, but it's definitely taken some blows. There's hits to the card for sure.
Yeah. There's a way to save night 1 with the main event if you can find a way to put Undertaker versus Jinder night 1.
No. I thought you were going to say a real statement there. You had me hook, line, and sinker. I was like, how do we save this main event? Let's save it right now.
Why do you think I'm unserious about that? I think that would be a great main event.
You are unserious. You know what I think would be great is film another fucking Undertaker AJ Styles cinematic thing. I don't care. Do it with Jinder. Undertaker versus Jinder and do it in the shed.
Punjabi prison.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be sick. Yeah. All right, sold. Punjabi prison, but cinematic. Yeah, it's like really in India or something crazy like that, and they go film it fucking cinematic style. That'd be great.
I love that. But Jinder has to go over, obviously.
At this point, they're not going to want to mention Brock beating him for the streak, so they're going to be like, and the only people that have ever beaten Undertaker at WrestleMania, Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns.
That's right. Yeah,
they're definitely. I think they're going to give Brock the Benoit treatment soon.
Maybe
it depends on how this all plays out. I don't know. It seems really bad. If it's true, it seems really bad.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's none of it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's probably done. And it's not, I feel like he's fine with being canceled is the thing.
Oh yeah, he's gonna go live in a cabin in the woods for the rest of his life. His closest telephone is like a mile away from his house at his mailbox. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he cares what the internet's saying right now.
No.
But hopefully the listeners of this podcast cared about what we were saying. I like reuniting, doing these from the top rope pods. Let's do another one after Chamber if you're down. We could kind of give like a road to WrestleMania feel, you know?
Are you gonna watch it live?
Elimination Chamber for sure.
You're gonna wake up at fucking 4:30 in the morning and watch it?
Yeah, why not? It's a Saturday, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that I got nothing better to do. I'll
wake
wake up with my dog, walk the dog, make myself some. What's a good Australian shrimp on the barbie? I'll make myself some shrimp on the barbie. Yeah, give myself something like that. Yeah.
I think what I'll probably do.
Chamber. I love the Chamber.
I'm gonna probably wake up at like 8 and start it at 9. Because I mean, how often am I really live tweeting PLEs unless Roman wins and I just tweet out the one emoji?
Don't do that. Don't do that to me.
They're PLEs. They were
PLEs.
They took it from
us. I saw a tweet that was perfect. They said people that call pay-per-views PLEs are like people that are like, oh, I saw an X about that. And it's like, you saw a fucking tweet about it, dude.
You saw a fucking tweet. Yeah. I have not done that. Like it's still Twitter to me.
I can't bring myself to call it X. You know, I still have on my phone, I haven't updated my app. So for me, it actually still is Twitter.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
How about that?
Yeah, no, have I done that? Yeah, mine's X on my phone, but I haven't updated my phone in quite some time. Yeah, I didn't want to do that.
I wish it was DX. Fucking spray paint over that logo.
Would be sick. It would be sick. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully the Rumble next year is in the continental United States so that we can go
in a warm state. Maybe that'd be nice.
In a warm state, because I feel like we did miss the boat on Tampa. It would have been nice if we were able to just, because I wanted, at least if the Rumble was going to suck, I at least wanted to go somewhere nice where it's like, all right, we go there for a weekend, but maybe we have like a little night out in Tampa. It would be fun. Nope. Philly for WrestleMania. That's going to be fucking cold.
Yeah. So. And like Philly, no offense to Philly, we're not trying to go out in Philly.
There's nothing to see in Philly.
Except the Barstool Bar. Nice bar.
Yeah, check it out. Check out the Barstool Bar.
All right, Jared. Thanks for joining. As always, make sure you leave a comment, like below, and we'll see you, this crew will see you after the Elimination Chamber on Rumble, YouTube, everywhere where you could find podcasts. We'll talk to you then.
See ya.